You're welcome again. The police administration says it is going all out to arrest the suspected robbers who injured one and killed another police officer after firing 3 bullets into his shoulder Thursday. The Inspector General Friday put a 10,000 cedi bounty on the head of the suspects. David Asante appeared to announce this when he commissioned the Kaneshie Divisional Police Headquarters in Accra. Joseph Akablé was at the event and now reports.
The brazen manner in which 2 suspected robbers on motorbikes shot and killed an unarmed police officer has shocked many. Videos circulating on social media show one officer making a narrow escape while the other lay on the street, presumably dead. The unfortunate incident, which occurred on Thursday on the La Paz stretch of the N1 highway, has left the police force peeved. At the commissioning of the new Kaneshie Divisional Police Headquarters, the IGP stressed the service is leaving no stone unturned in tracking down the suspected robbers.
It is sad to note that a few criminally minded groups and individuals continue to perpetuate violence on our hard-working officers and as well as members of the public. The killing of a constable who was on lawful community policing duties to protect the public is a matter of concern to the police administration, as well as the entire police service and also the public. On this note, the police administration is offering reward of 10,000 Ghana cedis to anyone who provides information leading to the arrest of those behind this criminal act. Details of this reward will soon be provided by the Police Public Affairs Directorate. I would therefore like to take this opportunity to appeal to the public to assist the police in bringing these criminals to face the law.
The IGP also admitted the service has logistical challenges when it comes to fighting crime, but added they were determined to bring the perpetrators of the heinous crime to book.
The people of this country are peace-loving people. That is why they've enacted laws, and they've access to champion, in ensuring that they live in peace and safe society so they can go about with their business. And we as the champions, if things such as this can be done to us, then what cannot be done to the ordinary person? And that is the reason why we are not going to leave any stone unturned to get to the bottom of this case. It also calls for the evaluation of our officer safety needs.
The focus in the coming weeks will be on how soon the police force will equip its men to ensure that they're able to fight crime across the country. Reporting for Joy News, Joseph Akablé, Kaneshie.
Well, still on this issue, members of Parliament are set to summon Interior Minister Ambrose Derry over Thursday's shooting of a police constable at La Paz here in Accra. One other police officer is recovering in the hospital after he was shot. Now, according to a member of Parliament's Defence and Interior Committee, Ernest Nobe, he has information the gun of the victim failed to fire, leaving him vulnerable to the robbers. Mr. Nobe says he will initiate processes to get the minister to appear before the House to answer questions over the bad nature of weapons and equipment being used by the security agencies.
It was like they were passing by La Paz and they have to be shooting sporadically to scare away people. A police officer was on duty trying to fire, but the gun could not fire. That is another matter altogether, that if logistics, proper logistics are not provided for the people that we say they should protect us, then we are doomed as citizens of this nation.
So that's the sense that you get, that maybe there's a problem with even the kind of logistics that our police people make use of.
Yeah, definitely.
What should happen going forward?
Yeah, going forward, we have to provide logistics for these police officers. Recently, a police officer was killed somewhere around Ashiaman, not Ashiaman per se, a suburb of Ashiaman. We need to provide protective jackets for the police officer, and that is what we call bulletproof in their term for the police officer. If you are on a motorbike and this kind of action had to take place, you have to be protected at the first place. If these people are not protected, then we as citizens, we are also not protected. We will summon the minister to see how best we can solve this particular police officers are rather to be seen defending the citizens, not citizens killing the officers rather. And it means we are out of touch.
The bit about the gun not shooting, the gun of the policeman not shooting, you have confirmation of that, you know, there was an incident like that,
yeah,
and the gun wasn't working?
Yeah, this is an allegation of an eyewitness. So that would depend on whether the police authorities will confirm it or otherwise. So we need the minister to come and answer certain questions. If the gun, a police officer will be able to fire, and that gun will not be able to do the work that is intended to do, there's a big question mark that we have to put to the minister or the police authorities.
Meanwhile, police at Tesson or Accra say they will intensify patrols at Abekala Pass following the incident yesterday. Joy News' Beatrice Edu was earlier at the scene of the incident and reports.
I'm right here at the La Paz traffic light where yesterday there was this fatal incident where two armed robbers shot dead one police officer, and then another who we are learning is currently receiving treatment at the hospital. This is the exact spot where this incident happened. On my right hand you can see some stains on the road, and those stains, if we were here yesterday, you would have noticed that those stains represent the blood of the officers who were shot yesterday. Is where it happened, when the officers realized that these robbers, suspected robbers I must say, were using unregistered motorbikes, and so they as part of their operations and arresting or questioning those who are using unregistered motorbikes, decided to chase them, give them a hot chase. I'm currently here with the Tesano District Police Commander Edward Kojo Tete, and he will tell us more because he was actually at the scene yesterday when it happened. Hello, sir. Welcome to Joy News.
Thank you very much.
So we are at the exact scene where your officers were shot. Tell us exactly how it happened.
Okay, it happened. We had an information yesterday around 1:20 p.m. That some policemen had been shot by some armed robbers. We quickly moved in, and when we came, we saw 3 motorbikes at the scene. We followed up to La Community Hospital, which is very close by, and then through our investigation, we realized that the 2 policemen were on their normal patrol duties on their motorbike, official motorbike. They saw these armed robbers on the motorbike, unregistered motorbike. They stopped them, they didn't stop. So they decided to give them a hot chase. One of the policemen, who is called Jibril Al-Hassan, he was catching up on them. So they realized that he may arrest them. They gave a shot, and the shot had his right hand. He fell on the pavement, and then he quickly ran to the La Community Hospital, knowing that there is a close hospital around. So that at this moment, the other policeman, who is also called Owusu Daniel, also got to the scene. By then, these robbers had become daring, so they shot Owusu on the chest, and he fell. He also fell on the pavement, and then they shot in his stomach, and he was taken to the police hospital, but unfortunately he lost his life. So now that this has happened here, we are more going to be vigilant, and then intensify our patrols in the vicinity to curb such a situation.
So you're going to pay special attention to La Paz here? Exactly.
The administration is going to pay special attention to La Paz here.
Beyond this, one of the things we were also talking about was the fact that police, your men didn't even know that these robbers, suspected robbers, had weapons on them. Would this inform your operation? Would this cause you to review how you operate moving forward?
You know, normally crime trend changes, and as they change, we also change our strategies. So we are studying this trend, and then, if possible, change the way we do our things.
You're watching Joy News Prime. Still to come, Registrar of the Ghana School of Law hints the school will soon initiate processes to make entrance exams and interviews constitutional.
Have been initiated. Okay. And whatever processes that is put in place by 2018 will be constitutional.
That's coming up after the break. Don't go away. You're welcome back. Now, the entrance exams for the Ghana School of Law took place Friday as scheduled on the University of Ghana campus, despite protests by some students who felt the decision is unfair. An application seeking to hold the exams by 11 LLB graduates was dismissed by an Accra High Court on Thursday. Registrar of the school, Nanal Sebunsu, however, hinted the school has initiated the processes to make the exams and interviews constitutional. He's been speaking to Joy News' Maxwell Agbaba.
This have been initiated, okay, and whatever processes that is put in place by 2018 will be constitutional.
So you'll be taking this to Parliament to make it constitutional?
We will do that. We have initiated a process already. We've done a lot of consultation. We'll continue the consultation and we'll look at processes that will be constitutional.
So you're not even looking at, stopping it anytime soon?
No, but that's why I asked you, when will we stop it? How are you going to admit 1,400 people? In terms of capacity, there's a limit to how many people that can be taken. That is the challenge. We have 1,424 people taking the examination.
That's today?
That's today.
Okay.
There's a question of capacity. Okay? So that is what we should look at.
On that capacity, I want to find out what's the capacity of the Ghana, School of Law?
No, as at now, we can take about 500 people.
500. Is it a problem of infrastructure? So such that if we expand the infrastructure, then you'll be in a position to admit more law students?
It's both a question of infrastructure and a question of availability of quality or qualified lecturers to teach. We have a problem with lecturers. Even for the faculties, we have a problem of lecturers, and also with the law school. So if you have a limited number of lecturers, okay, you cannot, because they will break down. So it's a question of infrastructure and lecturers.
Okay, so back to the fundamental question. Granted that the infrastructure of the Ghana School of Law is, expanded, and then we also provide the human resource by increasing the number of lecturers. Will the Ghana School of Law be in a position to admit more law students and then possibly, remove the interview and then the examination system?
As for removing the interview and examination system, I'm not sure that's the wisest thing to do. Because obviously there should be a criteria to select people who are coming. We can increase the capacity by getting more lecturers, by expanding the facilities and increasing the intake. But there should be a way to select.
Apart from the examination, which a lot of people think that, yes, some people think that it is fair. Others think that the interview session, people just use their discretion. And there are times that we understand that questions like how many lawyers you have in your family have actually come up. How do you judge the competence of, an interviewee based on the number of lawyers in his family?
No, I think that people are just, stretching the point. Interview is a process. A lot of questions are asked. One of them may be there just to, you see, sometimes when the people come into the hall or into the interview panel, they are tensed up. So you ask some of these questions just to relax the person.
Now, the application by the 11 prospective lawyers followed a Supreme Court ruling that the entry process of the school was unconstitutional. The Apex Court had ruled that although the extent of the exam and its subsequent interviews were unconstitutional, it does not want to disrupt the process for the academic year. Hence, it will allow it to pass this year. Well, the court, however, urged the school to initiate steps to make it legal for subsequent years. Well, some of the LLB degree holders writing the paper are not enthused about the rigorous process they have to go through to become lawyers. First is managing editor of the Daily Searchlight newspaper, Ken Kranche.
I think that the conditions for acceptance into the law school are a bit stringent. If our leadership the General Legal Council can look at it and make it better. There are ways you can do it without necessarily compromising on quality. Yes, that can easily be done, in my opinion.
What we are pleading for is that if we have a system to absorb LLB graduates, the system should be able to absorb more than what we are seeing today. We have a system whereby you see about 1,000+ applicants yielding to become lawyers. And yet the system absorbs like 450 or 500 maximum.
We are afraid that we are condoning and conniving with an illegality. And that is not a good practice for us coming up, because we are learning from them. Something which is illegal and unconstitutional, why do you? It's like you telling someone who goes to steal that stealing is an offense, right? Okay, today go and steal, but tomorrow you can't go and steal. What the import we are all trying to say we get from this fact is that they want to make this a reserved profession for certain class of people in society, for their future children, generational. Because go to the medical school, you see most of the medical doctors, their children having way becoming medical doctors. Who needs, the ordinary man who needs this more than the people who are at the top?
In other news, the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority has announced the suspension of internal border checks in the country. The measure, which is being implemented at the order of the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, will take effect from 31st July. The Commissioner of the Customs Division of the GRA, Isaac Krenzel, announced this at a joint meeting with the Ghana Immigration Service in Accra to review cross-border crimes in Ghana. Matilda Wemega has more.
The Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, directed the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority to remove all barriers on the country's road effective September 1, 2017. The directive forms part of a three-phase policy reform to make Ghana's port more competitive on the continent. At a joint meeting to review the country's security at border checkpoints, Commissioner of the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Isaac Krenzel, says the first phase for the removal will begin with the closure of checkpoints in the northern region.
When we talk about trade facilitation, it's nothing but removal of impediments in the way of traders. How to remove impediments or stumbling blocks and then ensure that there is a free flow of trade. And these are the things that the World Customs Organization, of course, the World Trade Organization are pushing. And what we are going to do come 31st July is to, as the first phase, 31st July is to remove all the internal checkpoints in the northern region. Then 15th August, we will come down to the southern region to also remove some of the barriers. So that by 31st August, we have done the evaluation, then 1st September, we roll it out.
The suspension, according to the Commissioner, should not bring any serious threat to the country's security, since they will intensify border patrols.
Even though we are removing the barriers, doesn't mean that customs is going to sleep. Rather, with the help of the Ghana Immigration Service, we are now going to do a risk-based patrolling. Risk-based patrolling. So what it means is that we are not going to do a lot of patrol based on risk management techniques. The removal of the internal checks will not bring any serious mishap to the country, because there are about 4 main checkpoints that we are talking to government. We have the central corridor. When we talk about the central corridor, we are looking at it from Tema to Paga. And when we talk about Tema to Paga, we have ECOWAS mandated checkpoints. We have the official checkpoint and then the sub-legal checkpoint. These are ECOWAS protocols that we should maintain. So we are even talking to government to ensure that these are international protocols that we should maintain. So not all the border areas or all the checkpoints that will go.
The meeting between the Ghana Immigration Services and Customs is to re-strategize immigration operations in the country. The Comptroller General of the Ghana Immigration Service, Kwame Tichi, says through their intervention and efforts, they have successfully rescued 150 girls who were being trafficked into the Gulf states. He says the GIS is serious about clamping down on human trafficking in Ghana.
We've intercepted 150 girls ranging between the ages of 18 to 28 attempting to travel outside the country. Our officers and men are on the ground, even taking risks to protect our borders and making sure that these ladies are not sent out.
Both agencies have pledged their commitment to ensuring a safe border for trade and protection of revenues generated for the state.
You're watching Joy News Prime. I'm Arba Kumsin. We're taking a break. We're back with business. Also, still ahead in the bulletin, members of Parliament are divided over whether social commentator Sidney Casely-Hayford should be dragged before the Privileges Committee for alleged contentious comments. Stay with us. We have details. You're welcome back. It's time for business, and Daryl Clow is here. Always good to see you, Daryl.
Always good to see you, Araba.
And I understand that the controversy over the 3% VAT rate is not going away anytime soon.
Yes, some business operators are calling for a graduating tax. I see the confusion of your face.
Yes, yes.
I'll explain. Okay. Well, so like I heard Araba say, some business operators are calling for a graduating tax system to replace a 3% VAT flat rate scheme introduced by government. Now, with the graduating tax system, businesses with high turnovers pay lower rates. Business owners who have been speaking to Joy Business believe this would rather boost business operations. Others are, however, suggesting that the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana should take up the challenge of educating clients in their respective institutions. Prince Appiah filed this report from a tax education and sensitization workshop organized by the Ghana Revenue Authority in the Ashanti Regional Capital, Kumasi.
At a stakeholder meeting in Kumasi, business operators expressed worry that the new system is an incentive for non-taxpayers while putting taxpayers in a disadvantaged position. This follows government passage of the 3% flat rate value-added tax, which has raised many public concerns.
To admit it is simple to calculate, as they are saying, but we are not looking at only simplicity. The problem I have with it is the rate that they have asked for, which is 3%, it is too much in connection with the business that we are in. We are getting a margin not more than 3%. Sometimes we sell at a cost. So if the government wants 3%, if care is not taken, many people will work and their capital will be depreciated. So what I propose is to have a graduating tax system. We know that most people are not paying, and if you want to do the right thing, it means those who are not paying will have advantage over those who pay. But if the graduating system is there, those who do higher turnover may have a lower tax rate, and that will compensate for people to do higher turnover to get a lower rate.
Others are suggesting the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana should take up the challenge to educate clients in their respective institutions.
I think it will be better if the accountants in the system can take it on and then explain it better to their clients.
We have the Kumasi District Society of the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana, but this is a challenge to us, and we want to take it up and try and help also to educate the public for them to appreciate the new provisions of the tax law.
This came up at a tax sensitization and education forum by the Ghana Revenue Authority on Thursday in Kumasi. Assistant Commissioner of the Ghana Revenue Authority for the region, Samuel Sechidodu, believes continuous education is requisite to broaden understanding for effective tax takeoff.
The truth is, between the output and output, the effective tax is 3%, is around 3%. So it doesn't make any difference. It's the same thing, which has come back in another form. Maybe it's education that hasn't gone down well with them, but that's what we are trying to do, to put in enough education for them to appreciate what the whole thing is about. Then we'll go on well. And to me, it should not increase price just because it has come. It's the same thing which has come back in another form.
Someone asking that is it going to be a replacement of the old tax, or is it going to be paid concurrently?
No, the 70.5 will be there, the 3% will be there. Some people, like the manufacturers, will still pay 70.5. Hoteliers will still pay 70.5. It's like when you're running a hotel. Maybe you say, how much is your room? You say 200 cedis. Fine, the government say you collect your 200 cedis, but collect 35 cedis in addition for me as a government. So now instead of charging the lodger 200, you charge 235. And the 235, when you charge it in June, the government allow you to use the money all the way up to July ending. Then you come and give the government the part that is the 17.5. So that should not be a problem to you.
Joy Business, Prince Apia reporting.
Now, players in the banking sector are looking forward to major policy announcements by the Governor of the Bank of Ghana. This year's edition of the Banking Awards is scheduled to take place Saturday evening at the Labadi Beach Hotel here in Accra. This includes the revised minimum capital requirement expected to be pegged at not less than 200 million Ghana cedis. Now, some banks are said to be already struggling to meet this. Meanwhile, all is set for the event, which is this year focusing on a sustainable customer service in the banking industry. Chairman of the Planning Committee, Nanotu Champon, earlier shared why that theme was important in building a formidable banking industry.
Well, customers are the base asset for any service industry, because you can have the bank with the latest technology, furniture and everything. If no customer walks through that door, then you don't have a business. And so we feel that the customer base is important. But you want customers on the basis of sustainability. By sustainability, we mean that it's cheaper to retain customers than to find new ones, and therefore the ability to sustain them for as long as possible is what the banks should be striving for.
Okay, but how do you think that banks have fared over the years when it comes to customer service? Because you get a lot of customers complain about some of the services they get. How do you think they have fared?
It's a mixed outcome, in the sense that some have done very well, but some are not yet there, and so we have to be harping at it every year to ensure that they set up and give the best to customers. So some are doing it, because at the end of the day, since the inception in 2001, we've awarded customer service or customer care to a bank, which means that some have done well. So one needs probably to go through and see, of the 33 months, which hasn't won anything in customer care. So it's a study that you've prompted us to do.
Yeah. And I just want to find out if banks are able to improve upon their customer service. How do you think that impacts their business?
Because your customers is your asset, and you want to grow your asset, it is mandatory that you improve your services to your customers, because, as I said earlier, if you have a bank and no customer walks through the door, then you don't have any bank. And so the idea of getting customers, is very, very important, and so they should be working at it on a regular basis.
Meanwhile, banks are expressing mixed expectations about their performance in the awards, which last year saw Fidelity clinched the coveted Bank of the Year award. Now, here are some views from some banks we spoke to.
My expectation is that Ghanaian banking sector will look at all that UBA has done in terms of innovation, in terms of customer service, in terms of the various products that we've tried to push out to enhance our customers' experience and reward us appropriately.
But which areas do you think you've done well that you deserve?
All. Yes.
The day an individual run his or her life because somebody is going to give him an award, is probably going to be playing a script. As Guarantee Trust Bank, we don't run our life playing a script. We have a goal, we have an objective. And at whether banking award is coming up or it's not coming up, we are always in the laboratory thinking about how we will bring convenience to the doorstep of the customers. This year alone, Guarantee Trust Bank Ghana has won 4 awards. So it's our way of life. Excellence is our watchword. So whether there is an award coming up or an award not coming up, every day of our life, we are striving to make sure we hit that target, to make sure that any day our name is mentioned, people will turn right, people will turn left, and they will say, that is the bank to be.
We are happy with what we have done so far. We are excited about the progress we have made. Awards come to commemorate it, and we'll be happy if we are nominated or we receive any of the awards on display, and we are on standby, and I hope that something good comes out of it.
So who wins the Bank of the Year award? The countdown is on to the Banking Awards set to take place on Saturday. It's brought to you by the Corporate Initiative Ghana in partnership with Vodafone Business Solutions and, of course, Joy Business. My name is Daryl Carl. There's more news after this break.
Yeah, welcome back. Now, members of Parliament are divided over whether social commentator Sydney Casely Hayford should be dragged before the Privileges Committee for alleged contentious comments. Mr. Casely Hayford at a seminar in Accra said MPs only pass stupid laws and engage in money-taking. MP for Kumbungu Ras Mubarak has petitioned the Speaker requesting the contemnor to be dragged to the Privileges Committee for sanctioning. Mr. Hayford has since apologized and withdrawn the comment. But while some MPs say he should be given a second chance, others disagree.
I think it's the honorable thing that he has done. We should allow it to go so that it will serve as a caution. All of us, sometimes we go overboard. Having come to the terms that he went overboard, I think we don't need to drag it so much. There are people who so stand by their words that have said it, I can justify it, like what other colleague wanted to do the other time. I don't need to mention names. Having come to his senses, he's getting to 65 years. So he has reasoned with the terms that no, he went overboard. So after all, what do you gain dragging him before the Privilege Committee for him to apologize again? In my personal opinion, we should let it go.
I don't think it should end there. I sincerely believe that there should be a reason why he said that. We need to understand what he's thinking and the fact that he put all of us together, and insult the whole Parliament of Ghana. It is an insult that we have to understand. As for me, I have no problem if you apologize and you're sorry and you actually show remorse. We should forgive you. But then we have a way of getting to understand what he was thinking, what he's going through. So he should come in. If he really means what he's saying with his apology, come in, meet the Privileges Committee, or even the committee of the whole house, and render the same apology. And so that at least the whole world will see. You can just not go anywhere and sit anywhere and insult members of Parliament. Have you read people's profile? Or you don't even have to read people's profile. Do you know who is who and who are in this house? You don't know that. I don't know what you think he is.
In every human institution, when you fall short of the law or whatever it is, you apologize. I think you should be forgiven. If he says we pass stupid laws, it is for him to also come to the house and know how the proceedings and other things work here so that we know. But since he has apologized, we have to forgive him and then let it go.
He's my friend, but I don't think he should be left off the hook. At least apology properly rendered on the floor of the House should do. He said these matters, I believe, last weekend. And so he engaged the media space from about Monday. So we gave him the opportunity to have suo motu, to have on his own volition, to have rendered an unqualified apology to us. But he didn't do so until my brother, Ras Mubarak, raised the matter before the House yesterday. And it was subsequent to the rendering of the apology that he's come out to say that he was sorry, But so it should not be. He didn't do so willingly. It was based on the fact that he's being hauled before the Privileges Committee. And I think he should come.
President Akufo-Addo has given executive approval for a bill on the establishment of 3 developmental authorities to be laid before Parliament next week. Also put before the House for consideration is the Zongo and Inner City Development Fund bill. The Development Authorities bill, when approved, will pave the way for the implementation of the Infrastructure for Poverty Eradication Program. Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia announced this at Dodua, where he met the 10-member committee from all 10 regions who are responsible for assessing the needs of various constituencies ahead of the implementation of the Poverty Eradication Program.
The Development Authorities bill, we've been in the process of putting this bill together for a few months now. Of course, we are 6 months in office. But we've been in the process of putting this bill together. And I think if all goes well, either this week or early next week, we will lay it in Parliament. But the President says, hey, we don't want to wait for the bill to be passed before work starts. So let us jumpstart this work because it's very important. And this is why we are asking for the 10-member teams in each region to be constituted so that you will now begin to look at the assessments and the needs of the various constituencies in each of these regions. When you put this together after consulting the various stakeholders, in the constituencies, including the MPs, and so once you say this village needs that, this village needs that, by the time the Development Authority is constituted, say the Coastal Development Authority is put there, then the team from the coastal regions would have essentially all the needs identified. Then what do? You move straight to procurement and action. Otherwise, they will wait for the Development Authority to be set up, then they will now have to move and do assessment. But once this is done, we jumpstart the process. They then now move to procure and implement the project so that by the end of our term in office, the first term, we will know that all of this is done.
Dr. Bawumia told the committees to pay particular attention to business proposals conceived by women as they hold the key to job creation.
I met with some Queen Mothers just this week. And they came with very, very, very interesting business proposals. One proposal was for beekeeping. Another proposal was for bread making. Another was for soap making. And I believe, as I talk to them, and I want to tell all of you, the 10-member teams, as you go around, listen to our Queen Mothers and our women in their constituencies. They are really a viable source of one district, one factory in our constituency. You listen to them. Because if somebody or a group of women wants to do a soap factory, it's not going to cost a lot of money. If they want to do beekeeping, it's not going to cost, or bread making. But today's small factory that they set up, in another 4 or 5 years' time, it will be a big one. The ideas that our women can have, they're just tremendous as I sat with them. And so please liaise with the Queen Mothers as you go around and do these assessments to see what sort of factories can come out of the local community. It must be something they are used to doing. That if you go and it's nothing to do with the local community, how do you create the jobs? Use the resources there and let's create the jobs.
Now, 152 people road accidents in the Ashanti region. The latest statistics coming from the National Road Safety Commission. The commission says the rate increased by 20% from 819 over the same period last year to 1,028. Nana Yojima reports.
Figures, including pedestrian knockdowns, went up within the period under review. Motorbikes and tricycles account for 11% of 1,588 vehicles involved in accidents over the period. Commission officials say stakeholder discussion will be activated to find ways of dealing with the worrying trend. Regional Manager Samuel Obensiama says though the Commission has intensified public sensitization, other factors affected the figures.
Commercial vehicles are becoming more stable. We're having more motorcycles and tricycle crashes. And again, private cars are also on the increase. So there's something that is quite worrying, and we have to re-strategize. We are in the middle of the year. We need to re-strategize and see whether we can send our advocacy and education towards these targeted groups to bring a reduction for the following year. We will need to sit down with the road agencies and the police as well to see whether we can re-strategize. Maybe there's something we are not doing very well to re-strategize. We are in July. We are almost, halfway during the year. So we have to assess what we've done for the first half of the year and see where we are not doing well and improve. Which roads do we need to prioritize and put more efforts to make sure the roads are safer, which target road user groups that we're going to make sure they are more, we put more advocacy or education on them.
He advises motorcyclists to desist from flouting laws regulating the use of tricycles and motorbikes.
Initially, motorcycle was about 5% of our total crashes. But as I speak to you, they're about 11% of our crashes now. And if you look at this, the increase in the motorcycle crashes, it's worrying as compared to commercial vehicles and private cars. So we have to streamline the activities of the motor. Going straight forward, I'm not saying we should go and ban the use of motorcycles or we should make sure they comply with the law. We should make sure those who are riding our motorcycles, our tricycles, what do you call it, they are Mahama Kambu and all, they are trained. You shouldn't get to a traffic light and you see somebody run through a red light whilst there's a police officer there or every vehicle has stopped. These guys need proper training. These guys need to be insured. They should make sure they are not overloaded. If many times you find these tricycles loaded with foodstuffs and market women are sitting on the foodstuff, which is not right.
Nana Ojima reporting.
Now, the Independent People's Party, IPP, is rebranding with a change in name. The party prefers to be identified now as the Liberal Party of Ghana, or simply LPG. IPP is one of many political parties described by some Ghanaians as political time wasters. It was disqualified by the Electoral Commission in the 2016 elections. Founder Kofi Apalo tells Joy News' Gifty Ando Apia parties like IPP have significant relevance for Ghana's political space and should not be underestimated.
You know, maybe you are not contesting an election, or you contest an election, there's a runoff, kind of stuff. You definitely have to support one of the two. Okay.
Which is why I'm saying that a lot of people have said the formation of political parties like yours is basically for this kind of business, because you don't do it for free, do you?
It's done everywhere in the world. We change the name for people to know the ideological view that we are pursuing, because some people find it difficult to differentiate us between independent candidates and independent People's Party. So we always tag us independent candidate.
IPP, now L what?
LPG.
LPG, that sounds like gas. Liquefied petroleum gas.
That's it's an acronym. So LPG is an acronym.
Okay, so
LPG, Liberal Party of Ghana.
If you were to tell Ghanaians sincerely why they should take you seriously, what will be a sentence? What would you say?
I would say that I will be the person to solve our problems. I know I'll be president of this country one day.
One day?
Yeah.
When you are probably how many years old?
Oh, I'm just 47.
So what you're looking at when you're probably 70, 80?
Oh, no, not that.
How many years?
I believe maybe the next election.
Your family members, do they feel embarrassed, you know, when you go out there on the political terrain, knowing very well that you're going to lose? They don't.
Not at all. They're all behind me. Especially my kids. They're all behind me. They're proud of me. They said, Daddy, that's what they keep on telling me. They said, Daddy, you see, even if you don't win, your name is out there.
Now, did you know that there is a law that requires all commercial vehicles to reserve seats for persons with disability? Have you ever seen a commercial driver ask persons with disabilities to be given a reserved seat? Well, these are requirements that make it a little easier for persons who are disabled to get to work in the morning or go home safely after a long day. Joy News' Daniel Dazi took a ride with a person with disability in order to bring you this insight.
This is a step at a time. That may be a cliche to you, but not for 34-year-old Philip Manfe, because that is his mantra. Philip was attacked by polio when he was only a year old. He's paralyzed from his waist downwards and only moves around with the aid of crutches. For Philip, descending a staircase or even boarding a commercial vehicle is a daily struggle.
Section 29 of the Disability Act 2006 mandates all persons booking commercial vehicles like this to reserve at least 2 seats for disabled persons. Often, most people decide to reserve the front row seats, that is the 2 in front. But this rule has become like Section 6 of the same act, which mandates persons in charge of public areas like this to make sure that disabled persons have easy access to these public areas and these public facilities. Let's hear from Philip if he finds it easy to board such vehicles like this, and if the persons who load the vehicles go by this directive.
Sometimes you get to the station and you want to get on board. Then the driver or the mates, most often the mate will say, you can go to the back. Knowing very well that your disability will be so difficult for you to climb and go to the back, they will still insist you go to the back. Some of them will be kind enough and come and tell the passenger seated in front that, oh, please, can you allow this physically challenged person to come and sit here so as you go to the back? Some passengers will say, no, I came to sit, I'm comfortably seated in front, so I can't go to the back. So the gentleman can go to the back. Some of them are kind enough and they will just get up for you to come and sit in front. So I think if more education is done at the level of the GPRTU, it will help us who are physically challenged.
Philip is the Public Relations Officer for Disabled Equipment sent overseas, a group dedicated to championing the cause of persons with disability and providing them with equipment they need for their daily lives. Founder and director for DESO, Mavis Hyde, is a visually impaired British citizen who has been living in Ghana for 62 years. She believes Ghana has made strides in setting up legislation and systems which make it easier for persons like herself and Philip, but there's a lot more work to be done.
And I think the public transport should be more accessible for disabled people. On most of the trottoirs and the public transport, there's no warning signs. There's no warning signs on pavements, silly little things.
DESO is therefore organizing a marathon for PWDs on Saturday, July 15, dubbed a Walk of Hope. For Philip, this walk is his way of showing the world what he is able to do.
I have a certain passion that it needs to be demystified in terms of people don't see the abilities in us. So I want that to be drummed into Ghanaians' mind that disability is not inability. That is why I take part in the Walk of Hope.
It's not, and I don't believe in.
For Joy News, Daniel Daze.
Now, health experts are cautioning parents to seek early treatment for newborn jaundice, which they say can help prevent brain damage. Experts say although jaundice cannot be easily prevented, its early detection and treatment saves lives. Greater Accra Regional Secretary at the Pediatric Society of Ghana, Dr. Hilda Boy, made this known at a 3-day conference of the society in Accra. Na Anyoko Ajay reports.
The 3-day conference organized is to deliberate on child safety. Issues raised include child protection in Ghana, newborn jaundice, standards for improving the quality of maternal and newborn care in health facilities, among others. Speaking on the theme, Every Child Matters, president of the association, Dr. Eben Bedo, says children must be protected against all forms of abuse, as this deprives them of their dignity, pride, as well as great childhood, which is a must for every child.
We need to equip doctors who come into contact with children with their skills. So normally medical school training, nobody talks about child abuse. You start working and you start seeing it, and nobody has given you the skills. So in Kolebo, we have put it on the lecture schedule now for medical students. So now they become aware that there's something called child abuse. and we need to protect children. I have set up the first child abuse unit in Kolibu, so that offers us a resource sort of center that can train also postgraduates.
Greater Accra Regional Secretary of the Association, Dr. Hilda Boy, on her part noted it was important for Ghana to take a critical look at the prevention of newborn jaundice. According to her, despite the awareness creation on the disease, many parents fall victim to it due to wrong advice from friends.
Many mothers do not know about it, so they don't expect it. They're expecting a baby, but they don't expect that the baby will become jaundice. They hide the baby in the room for about a week before bringing the baby out, by which time it is too late for many of them if the jaundice is severe. So they need to look out for it within the first day, second day of life. And then if the baby has it, they send to hospital. If they are not sure, they can easily walk into any health facility and ask for the baby to be checked out. Coming late is the main problem. Many times they come late. Sometimes they also do not go to the right places, or they have people telling them that it's okay, put the baby under the sun and that's all, the baby will be fine, until the baby cannot feed or stops breastfeeding, by which time it's too late.
Also speaking on standards for improving the quality of maternal and newborn care in health facilities, pediatrician at the Doma Presby Hospital, Dr. Doma Foucault, says the country should not rest on its oars in the fight against maternal mortality, despite some progress made so far by the Ghana Health Service.
The Ministry of Transport has a part to play. Health insurance has a part to play. Religious leaders have a part to play. Because, for instance, if you have a religious leader who has told the mother that as she's going to deliver, she's not going to have a CS done, when she comes to the facility and you want to have the CS done for her to bring this baby out, she's going to tell you that my spiritual leader has told me it won't happen. And therefore, you end up a baby who comes out bad and maybe has a bad asphyxia and then ends up with some disability of some sort. So realize that the spiritual leaders have their role to play.
Na Ayako J's report for Joy News.
Now, skills training and development are fundamental in the development of every nation. At the heart of any such progress is vocational education. Ghana, however, seems to have largely relegated that to the background, both technical and vocational education. As the world prepares to mark Skills Training Day on July 15, Joy News' Kwesi Deborah toured a popular wood product hub at Oforikrom in Kumasi. Here are his findings.
Along the main Accra-Kumasi road is a carpenter's village at Oforikrom, though unofficially designated. It is one of the biggest furniture hubs in the Ashanti region. The informal establishment, which has operated for over 20 years, accommodates over 70 carpenters. Call it an El Dorado of teenagers and school dropouts who have passion for carpentry as a profession. 25-year-old Akwesi Pepra has worked here for close to a decade. He works with an older colleague, 35-year-old Osei Kwadwo. He has also been here as a teenager after junior high school 19 years ago. What he earns here keeps his home and family of 3, at least for now. I started when I was in JHS. There, I used to carry sawdust. After JHS, I couldn't get help to continue my education, so I was formally ushered into this job. You have to work and buy your own tools. No one gives you money to buy one. My brother was a carpenter. He couldn't help to continue my education, so I understudied him and moved in here. It is located at the foot of a hill. They recall instances where vehicles had lost control and destroyed their wares. It is a very dangerous place. If we could get a formal place to work like what they did to the Aroga Wood Village, it will help us a lot.
Hibenya baby sama yensu ne yi nyina akwa. You say han me ono. Ye do so.
Ana asase etisu nso enye de nim da.
This land isn't for us, so we don't know when we will be evicted. Their numbers keep on rising, and that is becoming a disadvantage. The market is very good, but because we are many, sales tend to delay. Sometimes because of the rush, we sell things at cheaper price.
Instead of saying, I 2 cities, I want to mean 2 cities.
Now, the newly confirmed Municipal Chief Executive for Hohoe in the Volta region, Andrew Steady Ofori, has assured that there would be significant improvement in the state of road networks in the area during his tenure. He explained the deplorable state of roads in the municipality has been a great challenge to residents, hence his commitment to ensure the roads are constructed to enhance socio-economic development. Mr. Ofori made this known when interacting with the media after he was confirmed by the Hohoe Municipal Assembly on Thursday.
There has been several uproars from Hohoe residents lamenting on the bad state of roads in the municipality during the erstwhile Mahama government. Though 5 kilometers of Hohoe town road were resurfaced with asphalt prior to the general elections, among other road projects, there is still much to be done to improve roads in the entire municipality. Access roads leading to the municipal capital, Hohoe, and other smaller communities are deplorable and unpleasant to ply. The newly confirmed MC, Andrew Steady Ofori, who had 41 out of 44 votes approval, promised to upgrade the roads in the municipality.
If you are coming from other traditional areas like Lolobi, the roads are bad. Likpe, the roads are bad. Odome, the roads are bad. And even the town roads, they are also very bad. The water situation is not the best. Health, we have problem with health. A lot of them complain when they go to the hospitals, the health insurance, they have problem. There's congestion. They spend a lot, even despite they have the cars, they still pay huge sums of money. I feel the people should be assured that with me in office, with my experience as an administrator for a number of years, I think I'll use my good office to help the municipality to achieve its goal of development.
He also indicated that he would bring to bear his expertise in agriculture to ensure a meat processing factory earmarked under the government's One District, One Factory initiative for the municipality is established to help cut down unemployment in the municipality. Mr. Ofori also underscored the need to develop numerous tourism sites in the area to boost internally generated funds to sponsor developmental projects.
When you talk of tourism in the whole region, or even if you talk of country, Ghana, I can count Hohoe as one of the best. I can talk about the waterfalls, Afajato, mountain, the Quakes, the Talking River, Alabanyo waterfalls, and many others. So I think we can make a lot of money out of that, provided we are able to manage it. And that is why we have gotten some of the government appointees to be experts in tourism, who have some experience to share with the Assembly.
The Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, John Peter Mewu, a former MC for Hohoe and a native, entreated the Assembly members to take advantage of his office and approach him on developmental issues to move the municipality forward.
It's open for the 44 Assembly members, not only the government appointee or the elected. Anytime you are in Accra, I am there for Nana Akufo-Addo put me there first because I'm from Volta region, but precisely because I'm from Hohoe. And so how do I see there? And that's, of course, I have to help the whole Ghana. So come to me, let's see how we can develop. There's a lot of things that we can do. And I think I've started that demonstration already through our good friend, the MP.
The MC, Andrew Steady Ofori, a retired educationist, was renominated by the president after he failed to pull 2/3 of total votes when he was first presented to the Assembly. Fred Kwame Asari's report for Joy News.
Yeah, thanks for watching, and join us same time next week. I'm Arbor Kumsin. Good night.
This is Joy News Prime.